So together we're also trying to find an answer to this question, and for that I'm going to invite my panelists, Stephen Kerr from Cognitalk, Marjolaine Grondin from Jam, Alexandre Croiseau from Facebook, and Julien Nicolas from Voyage SNCF. Hi everyone. There are 2 mics here that you can share to answer my questions. Maybe we're going to start by introducing... Marjolaine, do you want to start maybe? Hi everyone. I'm Marjolaine Grondin. I'm the co-founder of CEO of Jam, which is a chatbot indeed, a little robot in Messenger aimed at millennials. The objective is to inspire them in their daily life to discover things that they're going to like, restaurants, bars, playlists, recipes, but also jokes, news, etc. Stefan? Hi everyone, Stefan Kner, founder and CEO of Cognitalk. Cognitalk is a tech company. We work on technologies, conversational technologies. We bring AI into this universe of conversation with machines, and our objective is to make sure that machines can understand some things when we speak to them. Thank you. Hi, I'm Alexandre Croiseau. I work at Facebook. I'm in charge of platform partnerships. It's a lot of things at Facebook, but I'm mostly in charge of Messenger. Messenger is at the heart of the topic that we're going to tackle today. I'm Nicolas. I'm the French director of voyagesncf.com, website that I hope you all know. Okay, to start, I feel that there are plenty of differences between chatbots and AI, artificial intelligence, topics we are here to talk about today. There are a lot of things that came out in the past 18 months, let's say. Could we maybe start by defining those 2 things? Stefan, maybe you could tell us how to make the difference, because we tend to mix them up. Yes, absolutely. We talk about this topic a lot. 2016 was the AI year. Today, it's the year of the chatbot. I'm not sure that I'm going to make everybody agree with me, but I think there is a simple definition. We could use it to start this morning. A chatbot is a software that can have a conversation, whether thanks to voice or text. I think that if I say that, I'm pretty right about what I'm saying. Then it can enable her to have a great conversation, can be a very simple conversation, can be multitask. So there are lots of different types of chatbots. I think it is important to say that it is very different from artificial intelligence. I believe that most chatbots, or all of the chatbots today on the market, are not artificial intelligence. The word artificial intelligence, it's very difficult to define. The artificial word is easy, but intelligence is a lot more difficult. If you ask 100 experts, you will probably have 100 different types of definitions. I believe that a very pragmatic type of definition would be to say that it's a machine that can do things that would be normally attributed to a human, because we have some kind of intelligence within us. And it's probably what we will see in the conversation. Chatbots are not doing artificial intelligence today, so we are not there yet. And for those of you who read the media, I've probably seen lots of things about machine learning. And the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence, for me, it's really not the same. I've been working in machine learning for 30 years, but I would never say that I've done any kind of artificial intelligence. Machine learning is a technology, is a technique thanks to which we teach machines based on examples. We teach them a task. And when we do that very, very well, and when we go very deep in it, then we can little by little move towards artificial intelligence. So these are very different type of words, different types of concepts, and it's important to define them again. So it means that chatbots that we use today are not very different from the ones that we started using 15 or 20 years ago. For those of us who chatted on IRC, I'm one of them. Why is it becoming a new trend today? Again, what changed? Why is it something that we can see again today? Well, in terms of technology, I believe that there were some progress. Machine learning made progress in the past few years. Probably everybody in the room have already heard about deep learning. But there is a real revolution, because it's the theme of this roundtable. There is a real revolution behind it. So we've made lots and lots of progress about deep learning, and we are starting to align skills that are moving towards human capacity, human abilities. So yes, progress are being made, and I think that it's something that we heard from Julien just before. There is also something that is related to a need. There is a market out there. There is a need for authenticity that comes through conversation, something that cannot be conveyed other than through conversation. All of us here in the room are social human beings, and when we say that we are human social beings, it means that we need to communicate, to interact with one another. It is something that defines us, and to bring that back towards commerce, into commerce, let's say, and to try and bring it into this digital analog world, a world in which that we have lived for thousands of millions of years, the analog ones, and the digital world with machines is something that is quite natural. This will is quite natural. Marjolaine, maybe you could tell us what you do at JAM. So you have worked a lot on how your bot can reply to insults. It's more and more natural to use chatbots, and because of that, we make them more and more natural. Yes, we work on the personality of JAM, and we believe that the way we design today is with text, with words, with frequency, with the size of a text, and we get rid of any kind of interface. The personality, the visual personality of a brand, of the JAM brand, goes through the text and conversation. We don't have any other kind of platform other than the one we have for Messenger. And every week we launch a new user delight, things that are going to make the experience better. It's not just sugarcoating. It is really what we want to find. It is what will make the experience better, the experience that we have with a bot better. And one of our latest features is, yes, about insults. We realized that people like to insult a bot because they want to test it. It's one-to-one. They are in the intimacy of their conversation. They can say whatever they want. And we started wondering, okay, what do? We want JAM to be benevolent. We want him to be genuine, but we don't want him to just accept insults. We don't expect that from a friend, someone you get along with, someone who you can have a conversation with, and someone who can react if you're insulting them. And so what we did is that if someone insults JAM, sometimes people start testing it just when they're sitting next to me. It's very strange for me to see. So when you insult JAM, the first time you do it, you say, seriously? Are you kidding? No, you're yourself. You're that in your face. And if you insult JAM again in the coming minutes, coming hours, you say, okay, well, I stop talking to you, and says bye. And for 2 hours, 2 full hours, stop speaking to you. And this is pretty cool, because when you watch the conversation, you see someone who's insulting JAM, like, very strongly. I wouldn't even dare repeating this insult here. And there is a shift, and people start saying, okay, sorry, can you please answer me? Please inspire me, please. I really need a restaurant. Someone who would be very, very rude, extremely rude, at first becomes very creative. Someone a few days ago said, fuck your mother to JAM. JAM said, okay, I'm not talking to you. And the person said, no, I didn't want to say fuck your mother. I wanted to say love your mother. And please come back. And you manage to create a relationship that is very creative for us. Julien, if you look at the different bots that you created at Voyages NCF, was the personality of bots something that you tried to work on? Yes, absolutely. It's very important. I completely relate to what was said before. I believe that the chatbot is very interesting, a great way to interact. And we believe it, we take it like that. So it's going to replace something that was done by a regular browser to look for train tickets. And we can see very quickly that when you have a relationship, an interaction with someone, clients start talking, start discussing, the same way we do it in real life. And little by little, we can find these personalization features. Jokes, yes, there are insults, and we also try to work on a way on how our chatbots would react to insults, but there are also plenty of very positive things. How to thank, and there is a new relationship that is being built, and there are jokes. Indeed, so we can start going towards a different direction. So a client comes in with a need, and some clients eventually ask our bot to tell them jokes. So our feature team worked on a way for our bot to learn jokes, and we have plenty of jokes, and you can try it. We also do it. Alexander, I believe that at Facebook, you've also taken part in this renewal of bots. Why was it important for Facebook to work on bots, to open this messenger platform to bots? What was the thing that made you want to think about it? Well, as Stephen was saying, I think it's important to realize, and I think that's why it was important to call this event conversation and not chatbot. We are social human beings, and the way we communicate naturally is through conversation, because that's how we are as human. And this is why messaging applications are quite successful, because it is a great way to discuss with anyone in the world. And technology is the best when it can become transparent and when we can forget about it. I believe that messaging applications are part of this trend today. So it's quite natural, very natural. We have people spending lots of time on this kind of applications. So how do we interact? Do we make a company interact with a person? It's not obvious because it can't be scalable. Today, when you have a conversation with your bakery, you are having a conversation with your baker, and it's not going to chat with someone else, it's chatting with you. And when you're a business online, then you want to chat with thousands of customers at the same time. So when we opened our messenger platform a year ago, the point was really about that. How do we move from a one-to-one conversation to a conversation between a business and thousands of people, while keeping this unique part, the personalized aspect of conversation? We are at the very, very, very beginning of that. The conversation about a bit over a year. Our platform has existed for a bit over a year, and we believe it's very successful for now. We also believe that this natural evolution towards conversation needs to work together with new technologies, and chatbots that could today answer in a very specific way in a conversation with humans are quite limited. It's still a big challenge, and fortunately, there are plenty of evolutions in terms of machine learning, AI, that will enable us to scale this idea of conversation. I'm thinking about Yann Lequin, who is the boss of AI at Facebook, and who was telling me that for 30 years he's been working on algorithms for machine learning, AI, and it's only now, 30 years later, that he can actually implement the algorithm that he developed 30 years ago, because he now has the machines that can support this kind of algorithms. Today, technology is going to back up and make this conversation idea that is very natural for us. So it means that when brands come to you to develop chatbots, what do they want to do? What are the great families of chatbots that can be developed on your platform? So we have all kinds of them. We can answer all kinds of problems that can be met within a funnel of users, so from conversion to customer support, pre-sale, we can do everything. So the challenge for brands that come to see us is how they can understand what their stakes are and how our messenger platform and the chatbot in general can address their issues. Of course, things that work very well are related to customer support, where the customer relationship can be handled within the messenger application, and chatbots or human conversation, actually. It can reduce answer time and answer handling time, or then there are also post-purchase type of questions. So I booked a hotel, I booked a train, and in the back you can get your tickets within Messenger. You can modify your order within Messenger. So very often we have cases where we have situations where you don't want to go back to the website or to download an app to do something like that, and that's where Messenger is very interesting. These are the reasons why, Julia, you were leaning towards developing bots on Messenger. Yes, absolutely. We had different kinds of objectives. And based on what Alexandre is saying, we agree on lots of it. So the first part is about customer relationship. Our objective was to be as available as possible for the client, to be very reactive. What we can do together with a bot that can enable us to say we're here 24/7 within your Messenger conversation thread, for instance, and you can contact us. You will get an automatic answer, immediate answer. This enables us to be there whenever they want, at any time, and yes, we can then escalate the conversation towards a human agent. But the objective was really for us to be as efficient as possible, to be as open as possible, to be able to be contacted at any time. The second thing is a good example because for us, we are in the traveling industry, and support and post-purchase is very important for us. And for us, we have features. We launched a feature that enables us to send your confirmation of order to the Messenger chat, and our clients use it. We have over 100 million tickets that were sent to Messenger. It's very easy for our users to find the Messenger in the Messenger application. There are train tickets. It's where they spend most of their time on their phone, for instance, because they chat with their friends through Messenger. So they have their train tickets right in the place where they spend so much time. And if they want to change their plane ticket, if they have questions about their train tickets, then they can we can escalate, and they have access to a conversation with an agent. Then, secondly, for agent, how can that help us generate new sales? Well, we see it as an interface. For us, conversation is a great way to have access to our products and to benefit from a full experience. So we launched a booking bot on which you can directly look for a train trip, for instance, saying, okay, the day after tomorrow, I want to go to Nantes, and you can put an option on a trip. We have lots of clients who've already used this bot, and for us, the objective is really to develop our business here. And to conclude, I'd like to say that at Voyage SNCF, we want to work on all the different aspects of our customer relationship and all the different types of device. We have a website, we have mobile website, we have apps, and today on an app, you're going to download it when you have a frequent relationship with a brand, when you have a recurring need. And a bot is a good way for someone who don't use our website very often to have a way to contact us. I have a punctual need. I'm going to go through the bot instead of downloading the app because I don't really need the app. And in that case, the effort is a bit more intense for the customer to start with. Were you convinced at the very beginning that the messaging apps and part of the conversation, automatic conversation, will improve the experience for customer relationships, or were you already experimenting? It looks like it's working well now, but it's still an experimentation? No, we are not convinced. For us, we are in test and learn and experimentation because we look at the explosion of messaging. All of our clients are on this platform, so we had to find a way to position ourselves to meet with our clients. We also had demands from our clients. Clients said very early, we at Voyage SNCF, we were the first ones to offer Twitter, a presence on Twitter. And today we will see if it works. If it doesn't work, it will be the client who decides in the end. So we have great convictions. We have beliefs. We believe that conversational commerce will change the customer experience in the future because we believe that we want something that were very processed. Let's say you have to enter where you want to go in one block, the date in another block, and it's not very natural. Today, we want to move towards a much more natural way. How would you ask someone to help you buying a train ticket? And it looks like a human type of interaction, which is a lot more important. There is a question from Klaxoon. Is it a profitable experience for now, or do you accept the fact that the profit will come later? Profitability is hard to measure, but what we know is that today our clients really want to use it. So over 100,000 people have sent their train tickets to Messenger because they think it's useful. For the 17,000 who've used our booking bot, the clients go through the whole process. They actually block the trips and then pay for them. So we actually have results. It's pretty early to talk about profitability. 17,000 for Voyage SNCF, it's still a pretty small number. But for us, what's important is to have a great way to offer this type of conversation in messaging, in bots that will be in your living room tomorrow. Maybe it's an investment for today for us because we believe that it's going to change the Euro experience. Marjolaine, why did you decide to launch Jam in a conversational mode? First through SMS, yes, and then on Messenger. Why did you decide to do that instead of launching an app? So it's not exactly what happened. We started with an app and a website to solve the problem that we had identified. First of all, for students, and now it's for more general public. At first, we were students ourselves and said, okay, I'm going to a new campus, a new city. I don't know where to go out. I don't know how to find a flat, a job. And I don't really have a solution. And our first intuition was that, okay, we're going to create a platform like Le Bon Coin, for instance, that will enable students to exchange good tips. And we pushed this idea into our campuses where we were, me and my partner, and we realized that there were use because we were chatting with users. We were able to convince them to come on the platform. And what was a bit of a hack became our first value. We created content. We posted the content on the platform saying, okay, this is what it could look like if you come here, if you participate. And people came and spent time scrolling, consuming the content, but they didn't really participate. They didn't really participate. And 2 years ago, we threw everything away. So we threw 1.5 years of code design away, and we said, okay, let's start from scratch. And we offered the users to come and see us in the Noma in the Sentier in Paris. And we were sitting around the table with them, and we said, okay, I have new ideas for apps. Look at my mock-up, look what it looked like. And very quickly, we moved from this form that we had worked on towards a more white page. Okay, if you really want to help me, this is what I want, and try to help me. Okay, I'm looking for a gym in the 18th district in Paris. I'm looking for a gift for my girlfriend. I'm looking for a place where I could find, where I can bring my Tinder date. And I said, okay, let me give you, give me your email and I will get back to you in 24 hours. And this is how we started chatting with them, with the students. And in 2 weeks, we had 800 people that used this email address. And we moved towards the phone, then we moved to web services. We never used a SIM card, for instance. In 3 months, we moved towards SMS, then to Messenger. We used both channels. We used Twitter as well, but in the DM on Twitter, but people don't use it a lot. It was 1% of our traffic, so we forgot about it. So SMS and Messenger worked. I think ubiquity is very important. We are everywhere, and the platform is not important. It's not relevant. We are an agnostic platform, and that was key for us. And today we moved directly and only towards Messenger. And all of our users are on Messenger. Messenger, it's just about chatting. We don't say, I'm on Facebook. We say, no, I chat. That's it. And the services we can find on Messenger are great for us. SMS is more expensive. You have more wait time, so 30 seconds, let's say, between the moment text is sent and the moment it's received. On Messenger, you don't have that. We moved from the app towards conversation. So there was another question asked on Klaxoon. Maybe isn't there a risk to start your business on a platform on which you can't have any control? I think it's exactly the same as having or building an app on iOS or Android. It is a question that can be asked at Voyage SNCF to Voyage SNCF as well. Even if Facebook people are great, you don't really control what's going on. Is it a risk that you are willing to take? Or is it really a question that can be asked? So we don't really have control on the platform. Yes, we are on a platform that's Messenger. The service itself can be handled by us. It means that there are plenty of platforms that exist, Messenger, others, and we come with services on this platform. I believe that we have to deal with this fear and realize that wherever the clients are, we have to be able to answer their questions and their needs. For us, it's not really a risk, it's more of an opportunity, contact opportunity, opportunity for more interactions. As I was saying, it enables us to be more open-minded, to be more accessible. People can reach us. We are in rapidity. We have the way to give very quick answers. And it changes from time to time. Sometimes people will want to find a lot of content. They will go on our website. They will look at destination. But some other people have to buy something quickly and punctually, and that way they will go through Messenger. So they will not go on the website in that case, they will go on Messenger. Yes, absolutely. For me, you have to get over your fear, and I completely agree with that. It is an opportunity. And if, for one reason or another, the platform was cut, a bot needs to be able to say, okay, my brand is strong enough. And the service I give is strong enough. And if I was going to change platform, people will have to follow me. And if people don't follow and say, okay, it's no longer available, well, I stop using it, it means that the bot was not strong enough. If the brand is strong enough, if the service is strong enough, then the community will follow. There is something else. The Messenger platform, when you look at it, works a lot with the partners who were part of its growth. We work a lot with Julian's team, we work with Marjolaine as well, and we work with lots of other partners who are those who tell us what the platform was supposed to look like and how it should evolve. We do not consider at Facebook that we absolutely know where we're going. We need to understand what are the stakes of companies, and all the tools that we develop on the platform are the results of these conversations with our partners, because we believe that it's mostly a service that we are developing, and it's a service that we are giving them. How do you see the future for that? When we worked on this roundtable, Alexander, you talked about the different type of interfaces. Is it going to be something that will happen? Marjolaine, you were saying that it all works together. What is the vision, let's say, for the coming month, coming years around these kind of topics? So, I wish I had an answer to that question, a specific answer. I think that we're going to follow the trends, to follow things, to see how they are moving, rather than trying to understand them. But what I believe is that the more you get close to a natural way of communicating, the easier it becomes, especially for companies who want to be in touch with their users. Will it be through an app, through messages that will be sent? I don't know, it would probably go beyond that. We talked about voice, for instance, virtual reality. There are plenty of different ways of thinking about this question. But building AI, building language processing, trying to have it evolve, it is a base for everything that will be conversational tomorrow. Marjolaine? Well, when I was saying complementary, I mean that I'm highly convinced that a conversation will become an interface. And I believe it's not really about wondering whether it's an app or a bot. Because I believe that there will be a complete hybridization. We will no longer go into an application that will not have this conversational aspect. Today, Uber. I'm going to Uber, I want to book a car, but there is no conversation. It would be a lot more natural if I could just open a conversation saying, okay, I want to go there from point A to point B, and what are the options, you know where I am. I don't care about moving the thing. Agenda, it's the same. I need to be able to see it. It would be a lot easier if I could just focus on conversation by saying, okay, add this event on my agenda. Okay, there is done. Could have questions. Okay, where is it going to be? What time, etc. And then you can visualize it. I think apps are botifying themselves and the other way around as well. Before we were 100% text, and you could have some links as well. There were no images at all, but today, when we are developing on Messenger, we realize that we have lots of possibilities that makes the conversation richer, and the border is getting more and more blurry. I think that with what's coming out with artificial intelligence, the users will be able to find shortcuts. They won't have to write things on blocks, and they're going to say, okay, this is what I want to do. Try to organize the information. The machine will do it at the back, and this is a kind of mixed way of doing things. Julien saying what I'm going to when I'm saying I want to go from point A to point B, it's what you offer on Voyage SNCF. Maybe do you see any advantages? Maybe does it improve customer satisfaction or performance better when you move from a bot to a bot from other channels? Today it's too soon to say. We can be convinced that it's going to work. We are convinced because we are moving towards a natural way of doing things. We are moving towards a natural way of expressing ourselves. Expressing customer experience is what we want to move towards for the future, improving this customer experience. And so to go back to the topic of this conversation, it was buzzword or revolution. Revolution takes time. And I believe that today it is a right way to find a way to interact. We have seen the explosion of messaging with the different platforms. We have a very high augmentation of requests through the voice. We can see that in the US, we can see that on Google. We have a will from customers or great interest from our customers on bots that are being developed all around the world to order products, to interact. It is great to see the young ones, kids, interacting with Siri, for instance. I believe that this all will help us to get a better customer relationship, and it will reduce the efforts that the clients will have to do. Today, the customer a visitor on a website has to make an effort to enter into a system, an environment. Tomorrow, it's what Marjolaine was saying, services will adapt to the visitor. It will not be the client that will have to adapt, but the other way around. We believe that on the internet adoption was massive, quite quick. For apps, it was massive and quite quick as well. We are saying that conversational apps, chatbots, AI, it's so natural that we are removing the last obstacles and that the use will be even more massive and more quick. It's still hard to say because we don't have any way to read the future, but these services that bring a real added value are adopted very quickly always. What we saw is that developing these platforms, like Facebook, for instance, have improved services, and the announcements that were made by Facebook last year gave a new momentum, saying, okay, there is a platform, it exists, it's quite mature, we can go on it. But we have to say that companies today must offer services that work to their clients. And I believe that the numbers that were given by Alexander, hundreds of millions of thousands of bots exist. There are plenty of them that are completely useless, plenty of them that don't work at all. But we need to start building bots that work. And when we have bots that work very well, then we will have this leverage effect on the use for our customers. Stéphane, to make it work, do we need to continue innovating, to have new work on AI, on natural language? And we started talking about these connected boxes that we have in our homes, to have access to Amazon, to Google Home, etc. Voice as well. It's a question from Klaxon. For now, we still have to type in the questions. Could voice be a way of overcoming the last obstacles towards conversation? I think what we've heard was very interesting because all in all, we all agree on saying that conversational is the future. And I think that your question, Simon, is very interesting. What prevents us today from moving forward? Well, I don't think like for the internet or for apps, the real challenge for us is ahead of us. And that's why I was saying before that in 2016, even if it was the AI year and 2017 the chatbot year, I think that we still have a lot to do, lots of things ahead of us, and we are not there yet. We haven't reached that point yet. We haven't reached the level of artificial intelligence that will enable us to put a bot in front of a customer to be able to answer all the questions regardless of the context. Today, to make it work, as Julien was saying, we have to simplify the problem. We have to say, okay, it can only do that, and you verticalize, you constrain the problem, you limit it. We are still in the state of mind of saying, okay, I'm trying to twist the problem so that the machine can deal with it. And this is going to change. As I was saying, it has changed already. It's changing quite fast. And it's not in 2017 that we're going to solve all these issues. I think that we're going to see solutions that are more and more efficient. There will be more and more bots that work. We are working towards that. And I think that we have to be careful. We don't have to oversell it to generate unrealistic expectations. There are breakthroughs that have to be done ahead of us. And it's not something that's going to be done in a few months or in a few years. I think that the timeline to reach chatbot, an efficient chatbot in front of us to say, okay, I have no idea I'm not able to say whether I'm talking to a human or a bot. It's something that could happen within 5 to 10 years, rather. About voice, I think that is a problem that is more or less under control. Today, voice recognition in the labs, in the most advanced labs at Facebook, we are deeply into it. At Google, it's the same. At Amazon, they have made great progress. At Microsoft, it's moving very, very quickly. So everyone, all the major stakeholders today can have voice recognition that is almost at the human level. So that lock is going to disappear. And yes, we are going to be able to talk and not write. But it's not yet the main way for a user to interact. I think that is about to fall. That obstacle is about to fall very quickly, very soon. I think it's something that could happen in the next 12 to 24 months. Voice will become the main interface. Alexa, Google Home are products that are very successful, that were launched very quickly and with great reaction from the audience. So yes, it's going to happen very quickly. Alexandre? In the 90s, we talked about human-machine interfaces. To connect a human with a machine, a human-machine interface, it's just an obstacle that exists because we can't communicate, something that you can do with a human being. So the idea is to overcome this obstacle. But I believe that voice recognition is something that works pretty well today. I believe that the problem is to act once you understood the answer. Siri is very good at understanding what you say, at writing what you said, but providing the answer still has to be done. Understanding is the key. Understanding the intent behind the sentence that was said is important, but simplifying and getting rid of all the different obstacles is really the core of this conversational topic. Today we could see that we had great use. It's the case at JAM, at Voyage SNCF as well. Is it the case for the two of you? Is the next step for you all to conclude to make interfaces even more natural and to dialogue directly, to discuss directly with your users? Julien? Yes, absolutely. It's already the case on our app, on our mobile app. You have the ability to send a request. You have a little mic, you press on it. You can find it very easily when you're on the app homepage. And yes, it is something that we will make possible for our clients. We don't want to impose it. We want to move towards conversation. We offer this possibility, and we will see what is the adoption rate for our users. For us, it's going to simplify the conversation, definitely. And because of iAdvize, behind this conversation, there are plenty of interactions we can have with our people, our internal agents, all of the team of internal agents, customer experts. And for us, this is a great wealth. There are so many more things that are said in a conversation than in a form. And I think that's something that can lead us towards great things in the future. Once again, I'm going to talk about hybridization, but I believe that text, image, video, voice, it's not about that. It's about being able to change. Sometimes it might be easier to say, I need that, but that the answer would not be a voice conversation, but an image. Alexa does that. There is a screen now, and it seems natural. When you say, Alexa, what's at the movies tonight? It's great to tell me what the scenario is and when the hours are. But maybe it's better to see a video of the trailer, for instance. So it's not really the question. The question is about fluidity. Sometimes you say with the voice, okay, change the song, turn on the light. Is the weather nice? I don't want to go out and to type in the text. Yes, but sometimes I might have a question. Say, okay, who is that actor? And you could have a picture, and it's a lot more interesting than a description of the actor. I think that text is very rich, and voice cannot replace text. I don't believe in 100% voice. I think we see it today. We spend less time calling than interacting, sending GIFs and stickers, etc. The way you build text, the way you write, the way you choose your punctuation, for instance, is just as rich as leaving a voice message. So the question was artificial intelligence, a chatbot, a buzzword or revolution? Stefan, buzzword revolution? I think there is a real revolution. I think this revolution is happening. As I was saying before, I think that we have to be realistic about the expectations. There is still a long way ahead of us. And as I was saying before, it is important to make all of that natural. We are on that way, on that path. Today, it's still a mix between bots and humans. And I think that's great. We will have cobots, so teams between bots and humans. All of that are steps, milestones, and I think that we have to be realistic. We have to give ourselves a few years before we can really integrate something that starts looking like artificial intelligence. Marjolaine, in one word, buzzword or revolution? I think it wouldn't be a buzzword for so long if it was not a revolution behind it. Alexandre? I think that those of you who answered buzzword on revolution are not going to leave the room today. No, I'm kidding. I'm saying that I think it's a revolution, but it's just the early days of this revolution. There are plenty to be done ahead of us, and in terms of techniques, in terms of human progress as well. But it is definitely another way of interacting with technology. And Julien? Yes, I think it's a real revolution. And this revolution will take time. We are at the beginning of the history. And I think it opens up so many doors, and it's greatly inspirational. It is a way to increase the strength of experience that will be multiplied by 10 in the future. So if you want to start this revolution, there is a workshop this afternoon about how to launch your chatbot if you want to be part of it. Thanks everyone for being here today.